This is Let Your Voice Be Heard, right here on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
Act up, Hennessy, act up. Yo, we are back on Let Your Voice Be Heard on 90.3 FM, WHCR, the voice of Harlem. If you were just tuning in, this is Stanley, but I am here with the pension mommy, Tiffany Brown. Can I please get some of that 401k stable money you got in your accounts?
No.
You see, she's being selfish. We are also here with a special guest, a faithful king, Jose Garcia, but we'll let him introduce himself in a second. And of course, Fire Mariah, the intern with the baby hair that always grows the littest ways, and Stanley Fritz, me. You can find me on Twitter at Stan Fritz. You can find me on IG at Stan Fritz. You can find me on Snapchat at Darkskin Swindle. I put up a thought snap yesterday, and no one commented because I have no friends on Snapchat. Tiffany, talk to me, beloved.
How are you?
No. Yo, come on.
Is my mic on?
Yes, and you're hurting it.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't on before.
Say it with your chest, Tiffany. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm here. It's Sunday. Very early. A little tired.
A little tired? You was turning up last night?
A little bit.
Wait, hold on. What you was doing? You went to Honey Palooza?
No. Do say Palooza.
Sorry. Do say Palooza. Oh, so that's what you were at Barclays Center?
No, I was not there.
Throwing it in a circle with Do say in your cup?
No. I'm a respectable woman. Not to say that you're not respectable if you do that.
Listen, those are the most respectable women.
Exactly.
They be lawyers in there.
How do you know, Stanley?
I've been to Do say Palooza. It is a very blessed place.
I'm sure. I went when it was hitting Palooza still. Yeah.
I know some of the guys that started it too.
Really?
Yeah, because one of them went to my college.
Oh,
Nice.
Let's get him on the show.
In Kappas. Yeah, when we was first starting here, he was trying to come on the show, and I was like, yeah, we busy. So now if I ask him, he probably be like, yeah, we busy.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Tiff, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Tiffany. I work for a public sector union. I fight the power. I'm excited for the show in 2020. Yeah.
Have you done your 10-year challenge yet?
No,
Why not? You're not going to do it?
No.
I want to do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Yours would
what?
be great. Oh, so you still don't mess with social media like that, Jose?
I don't. I just have Facebook. That's it.
You see?
Oh.
And I mostly post for myself.
You see? That's it.
You're a
First of all,
unicorn.
that's corny. You gotta do more. So the 10-year challenge is you post a picture of yourself from 10 years ago and a picture of yourself now. And
Okay.
if you're cool, you'll reflect deeply and put up at least 300 words of reflection in your post.
Ooh.
But if you're not, you just put up the old picture when you looked washed and the new picture when you don't look washed. Or when you look great and when you looked washed, depending on how you're feeling.
Most likely, both of them will look washed.
Yeah. Probably.
So no 10-year challenge for you, Tiffany?
No, probably not.
How about like a 2-year challenge?
You can already see that on my Instagram.
See? There we go. And Jose, please introduce yourself to the listeners.
My name is Jose Garcia. I work for T-Mobile. I've been working for T-Mobile for like 6 years now. And I've always been interested in politics. So I'm excited for what the show has to bring in 2020.
Yay.
Yes, and we got a great show for you guys. So since we are coming towards the end of the year, there's only one thing that we really should be doing: reflecting. So since you guys don't want to do a 10-year challenge with me, at least
I'll do it.
I can do without the photos. So let's go.
What is gonna?
I have one photo from 11 years ago.
There we
and
go.
then I won from last night.
I'm thinking about posting a photo of me with no beard and me with a beard now and doing my 10-year challenge.
Sounds good.
And seeing how that goes, because beards are definitely the push-up bras for men, and I can tell you that because
Yes.
my girlfriend is still in my life, and she entered it when I got a beard.
Yep. There you go. And who do we give credit to that beard for?
I will not give. Now, Jose Garcia definitely was like, "Yo, fam, grow the beard," and I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Nah, grow it." And then I listened to him, and then I became an adult and started putting coconut oil and things in my beard, and the rest is history.
Look
You see?
at that.
Taking care of yourself.
Yes.
And he's
self-care.
also more handsome with a beard.
You see?
Yeah.
So-
That's just the way that it works. So listen, grow your beards. Tiff, grow your beard. Mariah, grow your beard.
Everybody.
Ladies, gents, non-binaries, grow your beards. But guys, we have a really cool show for you. So it's the end of 2019. And you know what that means? We get to reflect on some of the biggest winners, losers, trash people, and confusing things that happened throughout the year. So this is our third annual Resitance Awards. And if you're wondering why Selena Hill is not here, it is because she is in Guyana right now giving a TED Talk to TED Talks. No, she's under the weather, so she's at home hopefully resting. But I know Selena well enough, she's either stalking the show on Facebook Live or trying to stalk the show while also finding a way to Snapchat herself stalking the show.
Shout out to Selena. Shout out.
Get some rest.
Word.
Get some rest. Feel better.
Yes, Selena, please get some rest and feel better. But guys, while Selena is at home, probably annoyed she can't be here to talk about this, we get to give our own interpretation of the Resitance Awards. Tiff, are you excited about awarding or even thinking about giving somebody acknowledgement for these awards today?
Yes, I'm extremely excited. It's a good way to really put this year in perspective, especially for pop culture.
Word. Jose, what about you? Is there anybody from 2019 that you think really deserves our attention today?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
every day. Every
Yo.
day this man does something new.
Yo.
Every day.
I saw something on Twitter where he was like, we need to find a better way to flush our toilets because people are pooping and flushing 15, 16 times, and it's not going down.
Who is he talking about when he says
Boomers.
Yes, and then he was in the South, and he was like, Democrats are letting women get pregnant for 9 months and then have their babies and pulling them out, and that has to stop.
Yeah.
He said those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we got coming up for the show today. No, not those Donald Trump quotes, but some of the biggest moments of the year. And we got a couple of questions, and we want people to take part in these questions as well. So if you're on Facebook Live and give us your answer, we'll also read some of the answers we've gotten already because our trusty intern, Fire Mariah, was posting these questions already. So we have Problematic Fave. Which one of your favorite or current or former faves proves to be the most trash this year? Was it T.I., Jussie Smollett, Jay-Z, or Kanye West? Those are some of the questions we'll be asking, and you'll get the chance to answer. So we're going on a quick break, but when we get back, the Resistance Award will start in full. Until then, enjoy some T Grizzly. You know we love T Grizzly here.
I need this beer cooked right. Let's keep that water 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You ever been inside a federal courtroom? Homie, you ever went to trial and fought for your life? Being broke did something.
We are back on Let Your Voice Be Heard on 90.3 FM WHCR, the voice of Harlem. If you are just tuning in, we have a new guest in the station. But before I get to this new person, the faithful Italian king, let me tell you, I am Stanley Fritz. I'm here with Tiffany Brown, Jose Garcia, and of course, the faithful.
You left me in suspense there, Stanley.
Yeah,
I thought more was going to drop.
Yo, listen, man. Listen, if you're on Tinder, you better stop for this Kingsbridge Poppy right here. Evan Mastronardi.
I'm going to change my name to that now because or else it's false advertisement. This is Evan Mastronardi. I'm the co-founder of Let's Not Be Trash with my boy Stanley Fritz. We are the site for multidimensional men fighting patriarchy and empowering men, and we ask you to look at our site too, and I'm thankful to do this with my boy, and it's good to be here as always.
You know what, Evan? You sound way too responsible, and I don't appreciate that. What were you doing last night?
I was with some boys I hadn't seen in a while to like a belated birthday thing because I had to break up this. Like you only met like a few of the guys that I thought you were gonna meet. Yeah. So I was out with them, and then we're so old and washed that we were gonna go somewhere else, but it turned into us like at Dykeman going in a circle trying to find parking, and then like that was all right. We were like, okay, we had enough, and then we just went home and actually didn't do anything else after that.
Nice.
So that's what happens when you're 29.
You know what I did yesterday?
What?
I ate an edible and I watched the Astronomy Club on Netflix.
I heard everybody talking about that.
It's really good, man. And you know, it's funny. Netflix was not going to promote it at first. They were not. And then black people were like, oh, this stuff is funny. And Netflix is like, look, Negroes, we love giving you content. And that's what happened. Am I wrong, Tiffany? Is that not what happened?
I don't know. I saw it on Twitter, but I really didn't pay attention. So I take your word.
All right.
Same.
I'm just hearing about it now.
I saw it around, so I'll take your word.
It's pretty good. There's one skit on there that certain people were trying to say that the Astronomy Club was making fun of Sean King, which is not funny at all. Tiffany.
Listen,
Making fun of Sean King?
the truth is the truth. I just need my fellow activists
So
to get
anyway,
on
the
board.
2019 Resistance Awards,
Oh, okay.
guys. The best, worst, and pettiest moments and people of 2019. Who had the best year? Who had the worst haircut? Who was the most trash person? We're going to talk about all these things. And as you guys know, during our Resistance Awards, we don't usually do the news roundup. So we're going to skip through the news roundup this time around. But don't worry. We'll be back next time. We'll have plenty of news stories for you then. But until then, I want to get started straight on the awards. And the first award I want to give is who was the best and most responsible host of Let Your Voice Be Heard? A, Stanley. B, Stanley.
I know.
C, Selena Hill.
Oh.
D, Fire Mariah. Who do you pick? Tiffany?
Fire Mariah.
I second that.
Oh, my God.
I second that. 3 on that too. I thought you were gonna do like Dylon and just keep saying Stanley.
No, but I got you guys. And you, Mariah, who do you pick?
That's what I know him.
I remember that.
You pick yourself, so me and
Yes.
Selena got no votes. Oh, this is crazy.
That's a diplomatic way to go about
Yo,
this.
Selena, you heard this? Neither one of us got votes. And they cheated, obviously, because the best option was Stanley Fritz. I vote for Stanley Fritz. Because
You're
obviously
biased.
I'm the best
Wait.
host.
A or B?
Where you see? B. I want to switch it up. Can't always do A's because sometimes the A is wrong, so you got to switch it.
I know. You gotta find the pattern when you know what the actual answer is. I know what you're talking about.
No, it's that old rule where if you don't know the answer, it's always C.
Word.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So now I've given you a test here, and you failed horribly
You
and
feel
miserably.
miserably? Okay.
And I'm not sure how we're going to get past this, but we do have to move on. So we're going to start this off with who had the best year. And now, when you're thinking about this answer, and those of you on Facebook Live who are playing too, when you're thinking about giving this answer, it doesn't just have to be somebody in politics. It could be somebody in pop culture or music, an athlete, anybody you want. Just kidding. I have 4 options for you. So, A, women in Congress, because a record number of women were elected to Congress in 2019 and were key to Democrats reclaiming the majority in the U.S. Senate. B, Lizzo. And we can also say, because she was also Times Entertainer of the Year. C, Beyonce. Or D, fascism. Evan, who are you choosing?
Yo, D was off, so I thought it was really going to be Stanley, even though. At least on my copy. I'm going to go with A, women in Congress. I mean, I know it's probably a safe answer, but I also think it's just true.
Well, why?
I just think from an impact standpoint, I didn't think by this point in my lifetime I'd have people like Ayanna Pressley, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC in Congress, advocating for me. I didn't think, and most importantly, representing and advocating on behalf of, to the best of their ability, of people of color. And I didn't think it would happen necessarily this quickly, that we'd have a core unit. I know we're getting more of those people that have as much, with their voices being amplified as much as they are. Yeah. And to me, it's significant. Of course, it's not nearly enough to overturn the white supremacist government we have, unfortunately. But I think it's making an impact, and it's important, and something I didn't know. I didn't realize it would happen to this point, and in my 20s.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And Jose, how about you?
I'm going to be a little pessimistic and say D, fascism.
Damn, fascism.
Only because I call me naive, but I just didn't think it was as widespread as it's been this year.
Really? Say more.
You know what I mean? I think for a lot of us, we thought with all this progress that we've been making, we thought, hey, I mean, even if they came towards the end of it, that we'd get. That we get, with all this progress, that we wouldn't have people so outward about their racism.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And Tiffany, what about you?
I think I'm going to go with A, obviously, but quite different reasons from Evan. Partially because I just feel like women have always been leading these movements in the forefront of a lot of change and progression in society. But I just feel like the way we talk about women in Congress or women in politics has shifted a bit, because I feel like it's a combination of the Me Too era and things of that nature. So I just kind of feel like women have always been doing this, but now we're just finally getting the recognition. But definitely I would say the squad for sure. And you're just having more different sort of voices, being out there. So, of course, I would have to go with A. And an honorary mention for Beyonce, because, any category Beyonce's in, she should win.
Did she really get $500 million to take a residency in Vegas?
I hope so.
Is that a real thing?
It wouldn't surprise me.
What do you, what do you even need with that much? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Beyonce, you've got it. All right. Well, my choice would actually be fascism, because, I'm with you, Roberto. Roberto. Wow. I'm thinking more from Roberto.
Jose.
Yeah. Whoa, was that racist?
Now it is.
Oh, crap. No. Now, Jose. I'm thinking about you, Jose. Fascism is crazy in this world. And in the UK, Boris Johnson just won re-election.
Wow.
And, he is possibly dumber than Donald Trump. And obviously so.
Are you sure? They're like neck and neck.
Yeah, but you know how sometimes you might trip it to the lead.
And then he has a British accent. Doesn't he sound a little more intelligent because of it?
Maybe that.
Maybe.
And he still laughs at Donald Trump. He was in that squad laughing at him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right about that.
Embarrassing if a guy dumber than him still finds him. So
that's true. Yeah. And he also said, "I want to stop black and brown people from coming to the UK." Wow. He said that publicly and won the election.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fascism for me was the one that's having the best year. There's a lot of fascist leaders all over the world now.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about Brazil, India, UK, Hungary, like it's spreading. They're about to get one in Germany. It is spreading.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've gotten depressed. Number 2, the problematic fave. Which one of our former faves proved to be the most trash this year? I already know who my winner is for this one, so I'll just give you the options. A, T.I. B, Juicy Smoulier. C, Jigga Man Jay-Z. Or D, Kanye West. Yo, this is a tough one.
I feel like Kanye West is going to be on this list every year.
Yeah, so Jose,
Different categories.
Who are you picking since you spoke up first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kanye.
Yeah.
I think he's been trash for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Kanye?
But does this also have to be your fave too, or is it just most problematic?
It could be the most problematic. I prefer, like, actually, it should be your fave or someone you like the most who's been like.
Okay, so you have to take that into account too.
I like his music.
Mm-hmm.
I just think sometimes he needs to keep his mouth shut.
I mean, he's not doing it that, and now he's saying he's about to go on a church tour with Joel Osteen.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Osteen.
When scammers link up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yo, they're doing a Jesus is King
He's
tour.
so crappy.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, they're really like no one in church.
Oh, that's right. He found God recently. So maybe
in a hopeless place.
Maybe.
What is it? Prosperity gospel.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
mean,
he got Kim Kardashian in these streets looking like she came from the 2000
from the draft.
draft. Mad baggy suits because he didn't want her showing her skin.
Yeah, that was just sad.
Wow, that's not.
Tiff, how about you? Who's your problematic fave?
I would say definitely
Juicy.
No, I feel like no, he was not a fave. But it's an unfortunate situation. Hope he's doing all right. Definitely Jay-Z. I feel like Jay-Z really broke my heart this year. Like partially because I grew up in Brooklyn. We went to the same junior high school. I feel like I was raised in like the gospel of Jay-Z. So.
She sold crack with him.
Exactly. You know, I did not.
Moved 92 bricks.
Easy. So
Coke by the boatload.
You said it, I didn't. So definitely Jay-Z with the NFL deal. Mm-hmm. Just, what happened with the group that he was supporting out in Chicago. And I just think he's a billionaire. We really have to start looking at our faves in a different light when it comes to these political times. So Jay-Z really let me down. And I feel like the others, T.I. should be taking it back and
Whoa, wait. Hold on. What?
I didn't say it.
I think you did, and the microphone picked it up. So.
Okay, I'm just kidding. He shouldn't.
You can't LOL that.
Sorry, I meant to like figuratively.
That wasn't
literally.
Tiffany. That was our former host.
He's a terrible person. I feel like we give him too much space.
T.I.?
Yes,
he just doesn't know what patriarchy is. Can you define it for him?
But
he does not.
But he knows so many words in a dictionary.
Indubitably.
Yeah.
No, after a certain point, it's a choice. I completely agree with you. After a certain point, it's a choice not to know more about that. No.
Evan, what about you? Who's your problematic fave?
This was tough. I mean, I gotta admit, Juicy is kind of at the bottom in comparison to these guys. Also, I just can't. I will continue to say. After Dave Chappelle, I'll continue to say Juicy for the rest of my life.
That's true.
I gotta go with Jay because at this point, it's like fave. Who's more fave versus more problematic? And if I'm weighing that together, it's tough because Kanye's always gonna glare out. But of course, while I also, especially previously, more so like Kanye's music, I do think it's Jay-Z with his recent decision. I mean, personally, I always knew Jay-Z was a capitalist. To me, it's not a surprise he's a capitalist.
Show some respect.
The question, well, we both
it's
knew
not
he
that
was
he's a capitalist.
It was about no,
I'm saying, but that's not why. I feel like
no, and I agree with you. It's not that. I always knew he was a cap. What I didn't expect with this deal that really disappointed me was how much Cap was just extricated from the whole process when I believe Jay-Z had enough clout to make him be a part of it and have an impact, and he did not do that, and that very much disappointed me.
Yeah, Jay-Z didn't care about Kaepernick at all, and that's why he's my choice for problematic fave. I can't cancel Jay-Z's music. It's been too much a part of my life. I tried for like an hour, but then every playlist I have has at least one Jay-Z song on there. But that one hurt. That one hurt a lot. Because, damn, he's a billionaire. He didn't need he did this for a check. Like, he didn't need to do this at all. He could have literally started his own league and had money to spare.
Yeah.
Like this is egregious, and I don't know. I just can't get past that. Yeah. So that's my person for the problematic fave, and I'm gonna check on Facebook a lot to see if we have any other problematic faves. But Tiffany, as somebody like you said, like who really came up on Jay-Z, do you think you can ever forgive him for this?
I don't know if it's a matter of like forgiveness, but I definitely just think it's a matter for me, just like really reevaluating who you put stock in and think they're, I feel like, better than they perceive themselves. I feel like all celebrities and all people are flawed. So I'm just like,
what if Beyonce did something like this?
She would. I feel like people are gonna have to come to terms with that too, because sometimes it's just like they're both billionaires, and then if we're talking about shifting to a society of like socialism or things of that nature, like we really have to evaluate people who look like us who have an inordinate amount of wealth.
Yeah, man, because, like, listen, we love Michelle Obama, but she's over here defending
All right,
George
now,
Bush
you leave Michelle alone.
I mean, she's the one that said her and George Bush's values are the same.
Wow.
So, I mean, if she can do that, then why can't Beyonce pull a Jay-Z?
Wow.
So I'm just saying, like, this is the place that we're living in now.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, man. Yo, this is really sad. Damn, all right.
Yeah.
The most if you want to call in with your votes, you can give us a call at 212-650-6903. Again, that is 212-650-6903. We are moving on to the next award, the Most Trash Award. And we got a couple of great contestants for this one. We got Aunt Becky and the college cheating scandal. Yo, if I was Becky, I would whoop my daughter's behind. She put in mad breath to get her daughter into this college, just so the daughter can go to college and make videos where she says, I don't really want to be here. Mm-hmm. And now Becky is facing 30 years.
Wow.
Because she doesn't want to admit that she did it. And her daughter, guess what she's doing? Not going to school. I'd be tight. So Becky,
also
who's
not going to jail. So
yeah, well, on Becky's daughter ain't going to jail, but Becky might go to jail.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy out here. So, Aunt Becky and the college scandal is one. And then, of course, there is R. Kelly. And I don't think we need to explain too much about R. Kelly is on this list and will always be on this list. Oof. Then C is Michael Cohen, the former lawyer for Donald Trump, who is probably sitting inside of a prison right now as a snitching on Trump and being caught for a whole bunch of different offenses on ethics violations and fraud. Then there's Amber Geiger, the white woman who shot a black man in his own home and then hugged his brother when she was sentenced to 10 years because her brother forgave her. I did not.
Wow.
And then, you didn't hear about that?
I did not hear about this.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, E, the Ice Raids, the Most Trash Awards. So those are your options. Aunt Becky with the bad grades, R. Kelly, Michael Cohen, Amber Geiger, and the Ice Raids. Every single one of these people and entities deserve to be the most trash. I'm going to have a hard time picking. Tiffany, what's your choice?
Oh, yeah, I'm going with Amber Geiger for sure.
You don't forgive her?
No, absolutely not. Like, it needs to be on site for
That's
every
fact.
single day.
You know, she's appealing her.
Of course she is.
Right?
Of course she is. She's appealing. This witness that was a part of the case was murdered. So she very well could get out way sooner than the simpleton years that she was given. I think it's disgusting how that entire case went. Like, yes, she was convicted, but like for what that judge did, the brother, I can't really speak on that because that's his, whole journey. But yeah, I think that woman like deserves everything that's coming to her, and she's trash.
Evan?
I mean, it's tough. So B, D, and E, you can make a strong argument for any of them based on what they do on like a personal versus systemic level. Mm-hmm. I think it's really tough, especially for me to pick between D and E.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna also say D, Amber Geiger, and it's not, but it's with the caveat and what all that represents. It's like the system that she's representing, the way that she got off, in my opinion, with the lighter sentence, the way, as you pointed out, most of white America. It wasn't that the brother, as Tiffany said, brother got his own journey. It was the response to that. That was probably like, oh, this is how it should be. This is how reconciliation should be. No, it should not. This is by no means. What a lot of white America wants to do is just go over the actual difficult conversation for lots of them about that police brutality exists. It exists in ways they never wanted to admit. And instead, when you look at a hug, it's so much easier for you to just say, oh, let's talk about this hug. No, let's talk about everything else that the system is a part of that allows more Amber Geigers to walk around in these streets, do the exact same thing today and tomorrow. And most of them probably won't even face the consequences. Yep. So if I'm pulling it in with everything it represents, I'm going to go with D.
Yeah. Damn. Thank you, Evan. What about you, Jose?
Yeah, this is tough too. I'm gonna go I'm going to go with R. Kelly only because I started watching that show on Netflix recently.
Oh.
And wow. He's a pretty... I didn't know the details and finding them out. And I think it also says a lot just about people in people who have power in general and their dominion over people who don't. And I think he's definitely a representation of something like that. I mean, and it happens all the time. It's happened with Donald Trump, and I'm sure it's happened with Harvey Weinstein.
Yep.
There's just any number of examples, and I think we definitely need to talk more about that kind of stuff.
And Tiff?
Just a follow-up question. Before you watched that documentary, did you believe any of the stories?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
I know we all did.
But the thing is, just hearing the details, hearing the people's accounts of what happened, that's huge.
No, to that, like, I always believe all of the people who accuse Harvey Weinstein. I'm finishing Catch and Kill now, which is a phenomenal book by Ronan Farrow, who definitely deserved the prize he won for the work that he did to never give up that story. And, like, I believe him entirely, but once you read detail by detail, like, it does impact you extra when you see just the terrorizing that these people do.
Yeah,
No, I was just curious because I kind of feel like, obviously, as a woman, just like when I hear these stories, I'm like, absolutely, I believe them. But I feel like there's always just like a different response because you see the details. But it's like, why do you need these graphic details to like initially believe this person is
no,
I agree with you. You should believe prior. Just, I think that both are important.
But it hit home. It hits home in a special way when you hear people's accounts of what happened.
And let me be honest. Like, if you believe it right away, you got to take a look at yourself too. Because a lot of these men are a reflection of us because we've all been socialized in a lot of the same ways.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, damn, we couldn't have done that because, like, what does that say about my friend Jay Sean or me?
Right.
So, like, that's it for me. And then, like, the R. Kelly thing in particular, once I saw that doc, it really made me take a step back and go, whoa, what am I doing with my life?
Because also to relate that as well to Harvey Weinstein, it's not just the details of what happened to the victim, it's the details of how systemic, and this is for Harvey Weinstein,
how deep it goes.
How deep it goes, all the enablers, and how systemically it happened every single time. It's like you can see it happening at a certain point with the case. You can only see it happen in slow motion, even though it's in the past. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, it's also, like you said, all the people around them, too. That's important details.
Yeah. So who's your most trash person for 2019, Tiffany?
Oh, I said it. Amber Geiger.
Oh, you did? My bad. Yeah, I definitely asked you first. Look at that. And my vote is definitely Amber Geiger as well because, I am all about restorative justice, but like Evan said, there was no restorative justice in that part. She's appealing this. This is crazy. Do you guys have any other trash folks that don't enter this list that you want to mention? Jose, I'll go with you first.
Well, I mean, he brought up Harvey Weinstein. That's obviously huge. So I'm gonna go.
Evan,
I would say all the people that like call the cops on black people for like entering their homes and their spaces and visiting. So like every one of those people are like trash. Everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
No, go ahead.
Okay. No. One of the recent ones was a dude who was actually in UPS uniform, and he still got the cops called on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We gotta go on break on that one. We are back on Let Your Voice Be Heard on 90.3 FM WHCR, the voice of Harlem. If you are just tuning in, this is Stanley Pritz. I'm here with Tiffany Brown, Jose Garcia, and Evan Mastronardi. But of course, Fire Mariah is behind the computers and the phones and the Facebook Lives, making sure all your fire content comes through. I want to thank Nadia Stevens, Aunt Lewis, and of course, Ebony for always supporting and watching the show on Facebook Live. I also want to support and thank all the people who are watching us on the watch parties. We appreciate your viewership and your comments. I also want to mention that Aunt Lewis mentioned in our comments that George Zimmerman should have been one of the people listed on the most trash list. I agree 1,000%. What do you guys think about this?
Absolutely.
Absolutely?
Yeah, I probably reschedule my vote now.
Yo, George Zimmerman.
It probably goes to George Zimmerman.
Listen,
that $100 million just put him in another category.
So for those of you who don't know, George Zimmerman is currently suing Trayvon Martin's family and his lawyer for $100 million. I forgot exactly what the lawsuit is about, but he's suing them. Meanwhile, the guy that shot at George Zimmerman and claimed he was using stand your ground laws is in jail, facing in prison for 20 years for attempted murder.
Yep.
This is the life that we live, guys. This is the life that we live. So, while we went on break, we had to play some Jay-Z, not because he's not still a problematic fave, but because his music is still the best and it still hits. But we want to switch this over to some more political context now. So the next one might be something that I'm like a little bit deeper into because I'm just a nerd that way. But I want folks to think about this and really answer honestly. What was the biggest political win of 2019? We've got a couple of options, but if you guys have some better ones on Facebook Live or want to call in with some, or even on this panel right here, please give me some. So we had the Kentucky governor, Andy Bashar, who defeated Matt Bevin, who was the governor of Kentucky, a Republican governor who was just as crazy, if not crazier than Trump, who refused to raise teacher salaries. And when teachers went on strike, he said that because teachers were striking, children would be molested. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Matt Bevin lost his race by 5,000 votes and conceded just a couple of weeks ago. Next up, Julia Mejia, who won a city council seat in Boston, an Afro-Latina. Guess how many votes she won by?
10.
One.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
She won by 1 vote. Don't let anybody ever tell you your vote doesn't matter. Then we have David Clegg, who is the new district attorney in Ulster County, upstate New York. This is the first Democratic district attorney in that part of New York in 167 years. Yes. And then finally, D. Chesa Bowden, who just won the San Francisco district attorney race. And Chesa Bowden is known because his adopted parents were from the Weathermen, the group of white folks who were blowing up conservative spaces, including Billy Ayers, who is his stepfather. So those are the 4 options that we have for the biggest wins. But if you have something better or something different, I'd love to hear it. Evan, who do you think had the biggest win?
I'll go with the district attorney because
Which one?
You and I had talked. I'm sorry, in upstate New York.
Yeah, David Clegg.
Yeah, because district attorneys, especially in previously red districts, I never thought until, I know we were talking about Sean King before. I wasn't sure if there was a debate earlier I missed, but one thing that I follow Sean King, and one thing that Sean King said that I really agree with is that part of the new wave of making fundamental, true change is progressive district attorneys, or district attorneys who are at least more progressive than who was there previously. And I think that has a lot of people don't think about that. They think about bigger seats. They think about Senate. A lot of people think about federal level. But district attorneys have so much power, including when to prosecute the police. Doesn't mean they'll do the right thing, but I think the start has to be with trying to find the best case progressive district attorney we can find all the time and try to get them in office. So I'll go just on that reason alone.
Well, Tiffany, I saw you shaking your head. Is there some pushback?
Yeah.
There's pushback because I feel like a lot of energy is going into progressive district attorneys. And I think when it comes to reforming or dismantling the system, that is an aspect. But I kind of feel like it still takes away from the root cause of the criminal justice system, is that there's over-policing, we over-criminalize black and brown bodies, and the system does not work. And I don't know if a prosecutor, quote-unquote, being progressive, that works hand in hand with law enforcement is going to be able to bring that change that we really want to see in the courtroom.
Got you. And Jose, what do you think about this?
Let's see. I'm gonna go. Mejia, you said was the one that won by
1 vote.
By 1 vote.
Yep.
Just to piggyback on what you said earlier, I think a lot of people think that their vote doesn't matter. I'm guilty of. I mean, I recently became a citizen, so now. I can vote.
Congratulations!
But I did have those thoughts in my mind where I thought, hey, it doesn't matter if I show up or not. And this is a perfect example of someone who won because that additional person decided to vote.
Especially on a local level.
Right.
I mean, I understand more so when someone says in New York that they feel's already going to win, like on a federal level, on a candidate that they feel's already going to win, but on a local level, your vote really does matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the stuff that affects you directly.
Yeah, right.
A lot of the federal stuff, you get it. It affects you, but not as directly as the local stuff.
Yeah, and so if you didn't get a chance to give a vote, so who would you choose for the biggest
I'm
win?
going with the Kentucky governor because I think that was such a big win, especially in the age of Trump and when people are just being so outwardly about their phobias and racism and things of that nature. So it's I definitely think that was a big win for the Dems, and hopefully we can do something similar like that in New York State because we have a governor that needs to get out of here.
A fun fact about that Kentucky race, they also elected the first black district attorney in Kentucky who also happens to be a Trump supporter. So that's an interesting thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. We are lost in the sauce.
Yeah, Matt Bevin, the Republican governor, was the only Republican to lose their election in Kentucky.
Maybe
that's how much everyone hated him.
Maybe that was the guy that was in the rally. Remember he's like, "There's my African American."
Oh my God!
Get him out of here.
Yeah, so I would go for Kentucky Governor Andy Bashar, because one of the first things he's going to do when he steps into his seat of power is re-enfranchise 100,000 formerly incarcerated people,
that's
so that they will then have the right to vote. That's building voting power.
Absolutely.
So now, the biggest threat to humanity, dum dum dum, we got Donald J. Trump, Hennessy mixed with Patron, climate change, gun violence, and racism. This racism thing is a new curveball here. Not sure. That's a tough choice, guys. So let's start with Jose. I don't think we started with you in a bit. So Jose, what's your choice for this one?
I'm gonna go with climate change.
Say more.
So it's just because it's such a near and dear. It's near and dear to my heart. So I just think climate change affects each and every one of us on the planet, every species you can think of. So if you're talking about threats to humanity, I think you can't get any bigger than climate change.
Yeah, so. I agree. Tiffany?
Of course I'm going to have to go with racism, because I feel like racism motivates and it runs through every single one of these other choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, racism is the reason why, like certain areas like Far Rockaway, it's like it was slow to be rehabilitated after Hurricane Sandy and things like that.
Yes,
so like that's kind of true. Like gun violence is just like, people that don't look like us has easy access to guns, but we're over, police guns and things like that and access, and we have way too much access in general to guns. And Donald Trump is motivated and inspired by racism.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So.
And Evan?
Yeah, I'm going with D as well, racism, because so much else is connected to this. I mean, I agree with you, the existential threat, the threat that's technically bigger than all of us is climate change, but even just what we do about that always will have racism involved, because a lot of the voices that are involved with it and some of who will be hit the most directly, people of color, and people also on what would be considered the left side of things, and therefore a lot of the voices would try to be silenced like anything else that racism does. Donald Trump is a product and enforces racism. Gun violence, too. Again, mostly a lot of white people get guns that they shouldn't be getting. So it's connected to everything on this list. It's really connected to just about every policy thing that we talk about today. It's connected when Stanley and I talk about sexism, and let's not be trash. Racism and patriarchy are always together. So it's connected to everything.
Absolutely.
Climate change is the big issue, but we can fix the climate and still be suffocating black and brown people. So I'm going to go with racism, because racism is the motivator for all these things. And that's why black and brown communities tend to be in the places that are the most susceptible to climate disasters. And that's why we don't put as much energy in addressing climate change, because the natural disasters usually hit the countries where you have majority black and brown people first. And it damages them first. So if Haiti and Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and Panama are being overflowed by these crazy hurricanes, and we're just getting some windstorms, who cares? Because those people there are not white and they don't speak English, so it's not important to the U.S. government. So I think that racism is still the number one for me. But I'd love to hear what other people think. I would love to hear some of those comments. But until then, let me move on to the next question, guys. How are you feeling so far? How are we going with these?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, definitely.
Pretty good? Well, you ever have something that like you're having a good time with, but it ends too soon?
Yeah.
What if that was a person?
Okay.
So
I thought he might do that. I thought he might do that, but I was like,
I thought he was talking about what we were actually going. I'm like, we can go over the questions again. I don't have a problem.
So maybe that was not the best transition, guys. If you want to call in with a question or comment, you can give us a call at 212-650-6903. Again, that's 212-650-6903. Next up is Gone Too Soon. For A, we have Nipsey Hussle, who was murdered a couple of months ago. B, Rep. Elijah Cummings. C, John Conyers, and D, Juice WRLD. For those of you who don't know who Juice WRLD is, and that's probably everyone in here who is under the age of 23 years old, he was a rapper, actually a pretty talented rapper, who died earlier this week. He had a seizure and a heart attack while getting off the plane in the U.S. So that is who Juice WRLD is, for those of you who do not know.
And Conyers?
Conyers. Why am I forgetting who John Conyers is at this very moment?
Congressman, I think Texas. Is it Texas?
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know as much about his record. I unfortunately know about the scandal, but I don't know as much about
We'll get some information about his record real soon. But let's start with you, Evan, because we started with Jose last time.
So right now I'm with Representative Elijah Cummings, but I would like to say regarding Juice WRLD, I heard this recently, and I don't want to say something that's not verified, so you're on the news too.
Yeah.
I heard, and part of this was paranoia due to there being law enforcement on the plane or contact of law enforcement that he had drugs on him. That caused so much stress on the man that is that a rumor, or do you know if any of that's verified?
I don't know about paranoia. I do know from what the news is reporting that they found over 70 pounds of marijuana, pills, and some weapons. And that apparently the pilot had contacted the authorities while the flight was still in the air to let them know that he would have those things. So maybe
that could have unfortunately contributed to it. I didn't know about the guns, but I knew that, some weed and this guy's calling the cops on him.
Yeah.
That paranoia that's associated with that, whether or not you're a famous rapper on a plane, wherever, that has trauma. And a lot of people don't realize how much physical can be associated with trauma.
Yeah.
So I know all the details behind that. I just want to throw that out there. But given knowing slightly more details about circumstances behind Mr. Cummings, who really went too quick because of, unfortunately, natural causes, this man was an advocate since he was like 11.
Yeah.
He worked a while, receiving bottles and rocks thrown at him, integrated at his local pool when he was 11, and all the way through his last year of life when he was presiding over the Michael Cohen hearing, was fighting injustice. So this man truly gave his life to this.
Yeah.
So definitely.
He definitely did. Tiff, what about you?
I think excuse me. I think I'm going to go with Juice WRLD, only because he was really, really young. He was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, again, what was reported, they said that he may have downed some pills because law enforcement was killed and the pilots did.
Was called.
Yeah. Excuse me. Law enforcement was called because he had, guns and drugs on the plane or something like that. So I think that's really unfortunate. But I also think, listening to the young rappers' music, I just kind of feel like it is a lot of just lean and perks and this, that, and the third. And it's just we don't live forever. These drugs are hard. You guys,
these
guys,
are blood drugs.
Stop doing the drugs because you guys are so young. He died from a seizure and a heart attack, 20-something years old. And I also think these guys, they just have so much money and wealth or immediate wealth at that time. It's don't blow it so fast.
Yeah, man. So, guys, we do have a caller on the line. I want to get Bron on the air to let his voice be heard. Bron, let your voice be heard.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, great conversation. John Conyers is out of Detroit.
Oh, thank you. Do you want to add anything else about his record?
Say that again.
Would you like to add anything else about his record?
Something about his record?
Yeah.
He helped start the Congressional Black Caucus. He pushed reparations. He always kept putting a bill out for that, and I think he helped Rosa Parks, too, when she moved there.
Thank you very much, Bron. Thank you. Yeah, so John Conyers was definitely an important member of Congress from Detroit, and his son is actually running for his seat now, his vacated seat now, and he was one of the founders of the Congressional Black Caucus. Thank you very much for that, Bron. We appreciate the education that we obviously needed. Thank you.
Just quickly, can you guys speak on the Cardi B thing with her? Do you know anything about that she was formerly a gang member or something? Did you hear about that?
Bloods?
Yeah, that's pretty old news.
Yeah.
I think it's known.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, guys, breaking news. Cardi B was a member of the Bloods, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Even though she tweeted, I wasn't the Brim. I wasn't 9 Trey, I was Brim. And then she deleted her tweet.
she just wanted to clear it up real quick. And then, have to delete the evidence.
You know, I got to pick Juice WRLD, too, Tiff. Like, you made me think about it. He was not even, he didn't even get to 25.
Right.
He had a lot of life to live. And I was going to pick Nipsey Hussle because this was someone who had so much potential. And it was someone I had a chance to work with a little bit before he died. The Gathering for Justice organized a concert in Los Angeles called Time Done because they're pushing a package of bills which would eliminate all of the blocks that they have on formerly incarcerated people to enter work industry. So, like, they would get rid of the right now, like, there's a lot of jobs and workforces you can't get into because you've been formerly incarcerated, and they want to get rid of those things.
Man. How are people supposed to reintegrate into society?
Exactly.
That's the point. They're not supposed to.
Yeah. So, and Nipsey gave, like, a free concert. Like, and it was a great concert, and he did it, like, for free. We got T.I. involved. It was really cool. So I got to meet him a little bit, and, like, I was really excited to see what kind of work that he was going to do because he was really interested in, like, taking a deeper step into that activist space and using his music to do it. So that was really, really cool. And I was sad to see him go. But yeah, Juice WRLD was a kid, literally a kid. And that's just, that is a sad thing to see. But, we can't just be sitting here being mad, sad, and depressed. So what I want to do is go to our last 2 awards. And the next one is the Resistor of the Year. We've talked about all these different things, but who deserves to be crowned as the biggest resistor of the year? The person that stood up and fought against injustice in a way that was louder and stronger than everyone else. And it can just be, like, up to you or, like, to other people as well. And so we have a couple of options for folks. But as usual, if you have someone better, like, don't be afraid to bring them out. So Ava DuVernay, who she just helped to produce and direct the Central Park 5 story again, When They See Us, and that was really amazing and emotional series. The Squad, AOC, Ayanna Presley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilham Omar, Colin Kaepernick, and of course Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg is the teenage girl from Europe who has really been speaking up loudly against climate change. There are other activists of color doing the same thing, but she has been the one that has seemed to caught the national spotlight, so we put her on here. Let's start with you, Tiffany. Who do you think the Resistor of the Year should be?
I would say the Resistor of the Year should be, I would say Colin Kaepernick, because I would pick him partially because when he had that whole tryout with Nike and when Nike wasn't being open and transparent about it, he kind of really took hold of the narrative and did his own thing at the high school that was public and for everyone to see. And one of the receivers, I believe, because he was at that, tryout with Colin Kaepernick, ended up getting picked up by a team. So it was just like, I thought that was really dope. And I think that was someone who's like, I'm not backing down. This is an important issue. And he keeps like resisting against the NFL, even though we all know that the NFL is purposely blackballing him and making sure that he can't get back into the league, even though from my understanding, he looks fairly healthy and yada, yada. So definitely for me, it's Colin Kaepernick. And one thing about Greta Thunberg, I think it's dope what she's doing, but really it's like, Miss Flint, little black girl who's talking about how, Flint still does not have clean water. So as Stanley said, there's a lot of, black and brown little girls that are like cute and sweet and also talking about the travesties of not having, access to healthy water.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Evan?
I'm going to go with Ava DuVernay. It's tough because all those people definitely made an impact, but I think that, sometimes in the space where legislation, even though I was talking about Squad earlier, where legislation can happen quickly, you can make impact through film and the arts and things that many people will see. And this is like why I try to more often say the exonerated 5. Because a lot of people for the longest time, even after they were exonerated, just look at our president who took out a full-page ad in 89, full-page ad to talk about these children being executed. And he's the president of the United States now. So many people, including him still, believe these people were still guilty.
Yeah.
And they did not get there. Even if they got like small piece of justice in being exonerated socially, it still was not there for them. Right. So they deserved this for a very long time to have their stories told in a really strong, detailed way, even if it's hard to watch. It needed to be. So I'm going to go with her.
What's that?
I'm gonna go with the squad. I think just to piggyback on something we said earlier about having more women involved in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they stood up against Trump.
Yeah,
and we need a lot more women involved in politics, and we need a lot more people to stand up against Trump. So
yeah,
absolutely,
that's a fact. So let's move on to the final question. Who will have the most promising 2020? We got Kamala Harris, we got Colin Kaepernick, we got Joe Biden, and then, of course, we have the rising voting electorate. And those are the young voters and people of color who will be old enough to vote in the presidential election for the first time in 2020. And a lot of folks feel like that is the key to defeating Trump. Who's your vote, Tiffany?
I'm going to have to go with D. We have to get Trump out of office by any means. And I don't know if it's going to necessarily happen with impeachment, just because of how that whole thing is going. But I think definitely I'm excited for just the upcoming elections in general. And like you said, I think it's going to be us really tapping into that young voter electorate, making sure people who couldn't vote are getting their voting rights back. Mm-hmm. And also just engaging people who have not voted for a very long time.
Thank you. Jose?
Yeah, I second that. I think the rising electorate for me as well. I think we need as everyone to be involved. Just like I said earlier about that person winning by one vote.
Yeah,
we definitely need to get Trump out of office.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah. Same with me. For all the same reasons that local, federal, state votes matter. We have political power. We have political power in the ballot box. We got political power outside the ballot box. That's one of the few good things I believe about social media and the internet that we can use. And yeah, the future, as always, is with us. So I'm going to go with D.
Yeah, you guys are right. The future is always with us. And with that, we got to get out of here. But folks, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for your votes. Thanks for your voice. This has been another action-packed episode of Let Your Voice Be Heard. If you didn't get a chance to hear this whole thing, you can always find us on podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. If you really like us, please consider supporting us on Patreon. If you give $1 towards us, we can give $1 towards the station and stay here a little bit longer. And you can do that at patreon.com/BeHeardRadio. We're out of here.